diving into the world of how the metagame is holding up. Make sure you guys smash the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So this is actually kind of interesting. And keep in mind that we're knees deep in Phantom Nightmare at this point in time. And your pie chart is going to be kind of interesting, just to give you a little bit of a flushed out representation here. Rescue Ace is your most represented deck out of the block here, with a 17.1% showing. Am I surprised about that? No, honestly. I think that the number feels very, very high, but that's just how crazy Rescue Ace is set for us. And then to follow it up, Fire Kings on the back burner here as well with 15.9. If this doesn't prove to you that, you know, maybe Fire Kings are something that you might want to consider picking up. I love when a structure deck needs $200 extra to be kind of playable. All right, and then Labyrinth at a 7.6 representation. Surprise, surprise, surprise! Magicians with the Supreme King Gate actually coming in with a 6.4 representation. That's crazy, actually. Branded, oh boy. How is Branded still functioning out here? How OCG? How have you done this? But okay. We have Purely at 5.6, Centurion at 3.6, Silent Forces making the pie chart, and the regular Snake Eyes, along with 31.5% other. So let's get into the actual numbers. So on your Rescue Ace versions, you had 43, of which 22 of them were the Sinful Spoils Snake Eye Rescue. I'm not doing this. This is too much. Now of your 40 Fire Kings, 31 of them are the Sinful Spoils Snake Eyes Fire King build, which is Poppy S being a stupid good card. Labyrinth, 10 of them were the Unchained version, so the Unchained build is the more dominant version. I'm not surprised at all. Nothing too special to note for the Supreme King version, but of your branded versions, 6 of them were grass builds. So, guess what, everybody? Yeah, we are doing some interesting little grass looks greener plays. Centurion builds, of which are 5 Horus, 2 just regular Centurion, 1 Naturia Horus, which we've been seeing that build show up a lot more, and then a super heavy, yeah, they can still do super heavy stuff. Also your Snake Eyes builds down here. One of them is a super heavy Samurai Snake Eyes FTK. That's kind of cheesy. Your Emancipator builds that are still sticking around, I'm not going to read these names to you, but besides the Grass Super Heavy Samurai Vernal Sif Emancipator, you get what we're getting at here. It's all these different moving pieces just getting slammed on in to this same little pile. And it is working. Don't get me wrong, right? Like I think that's the funniest thing is the success rate down here. So Runic is still holding on with 1 fountain, by the way. Though somebody did play a Chimera Runic. I think it's the first time in the OCG that I've seen the mention of even attempting the TCG version of the Chimera Runic deck. Salad also holding on down here. We also had Mathmech. Wow, only 1 Sky Striker. It is kind of interesting, though, just the further you get down here, you know, like, you got Silent Forces, Necros, Nemesis, Scareclaw. You have people really reaching on the top shelves for some of these ideas. And it's not to say that they don't work, it's just they feel sometimes a little bit out of date, and you can't really blame for that. You look how far down Sun Avalon Rika is. Ugh. Now let's talk about what we got going on here with Rescue Ace. So Snake Eyes Populace and the Bestower of Flames are new additions from Phantom Nightmare, and they make the fire attribute monsters actually stupid good. Now remember, Snake Eyes Populace is a level 1 monster, can be added to the hand by Bonfire, and when it's added to the hand, it can special summon itself, and it adds original Sinful Spoil Snake Eyes, and it is also used to make Linger Rebo, and then Populace effect places itself in the spell and trap card zone as a spell. and then you can send it with the spell card to start doing full combo. It definitely helps the consistency. And while SP Little Knight is on the field, Effect, Veiler, and Infinite Permanence have to be played preemptively on Turbulence. So now SP Little Knight is helping avoid a lot of the combos. Does that feel like things that the TCG has been doing? Because, yeah, it typically is a big thing here. Now, taking a look just at the list in general here, most of this, I mean, you play the one Populous. You do see that the OCG does like the double copies of the Diabellstar, which I don't really blame them for, honestly. I think it tends to be pretty useful. One at HQ, nothing changes there. Now, their side decks, they do get to play. I know. They have access to the Red Reboot. We don't. But their extra deck is pretty standard. Honestly, still, they're doing double SP Little Knight. This build is not doing the firewall stuff. I have seen builds out of Japan that have done the firewall plays just to make sure that they can get through to them and get them off the ground, but this build is not. Now, Fire Kings. Guess what again? Fire Kings can also optimally use Populous and Promethean Princess. If you didn't think that these two cards weren't going to be secret rares in the next set, tee-hee-hee. So, your combo lines here, you can normal summon Ash. Its effect adds Populous, and then Populous special summons itself. You activate the original Snake Eyes from deck to hand. Guess what? You get it. You make Vlinger Kribo. Populous brings itself on up, and Snake Eyes effect to send itself in Populous to bring out Flamberge. Activate original Sinful Snake Eyes by sending Vlinger Graber. Special summon the legendary Fire King Ponix, and we're off to the races. So you basically get to start doing Fire King combo from here, and then the Flamberge Dragon can bring back the Populous, and then you're just setting up huge link monsters to detour your opponent. You see how stupid Flamberge Dragon actually is with Populous? Like, it is nuts. Now, as for our Snake Eyes inclusion here, look at this. Your Fire King build. Oh, I kid you not. We're not even really that crazy here. All right, you play 3 Ash and 1 Flamberge, and congratulations. You're off to the races. I do think that this is a good news, though. If you're somebody out here that's like, oh, I need 3 copies of the Spell Searcher. No, actually, this build tells me that we don't have to go incredibly crazy for that. That's broken, actually. Good stuff for that. The rest of the build, I don't see anything too crazy here. Now, Labyrinth. Rumble Tulip. That normal trap card from Phantom Nightmare that Labyrinth has started running. So, when going forced, Rumble Tulip, the effect effect could be used by declaring an opponent's key monster to top its special summoning for this turn. However, the declared monster could still be special summoned from the graveyard, so the opponent could still use Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames to play around it. Now, when going second, Rumble Tulip can be discarded to activate the Chandelier or the Stove, and then Rumble Tulip could be used by declaring their key monster to stop their effect from activating. That's where you're getting your value at. Alright, this little trap right here is actually good. And yes, Labyrinth is going to start exploring this, because jamming your opponent from having key effects to stop you from playing the game, incredible. Also, only sticking to 1 Arius so far. Alright, I think that this is fine, all real things considered. You don't want to chomp down too much on this. And then, of course, they are citing the field spell down here. Not a lot really changed here. So what do we got here? So, conclusion. Phantom Nightmare has greatly powered up Fire decks. Oh yeah, it makes Fire decks insane. Rescue Fire Kings take the lead, and even Snake Eyes' performance has improved. Silent Forces have also had a decent performance on debut, and interesting, they didn't talk about anything Silent Forces. As Effect Failure and Infinite Permanence have become less effective in the current meta, some players are switching over to running Nibiru or Draw and Lockbird in the main deck, as your opponent played Bonfire to add Populous, and then activates Populous effect as Chainlink 1, draws Chainlink 2, actually blast your opponent out of the water. It's actually pretty good. Alright, so I actually like that a lot. So this is actually pretty interesting. I think your breakdown for this week, at least for how the meta's going, really does say that fire, Phantom Nightmare, just fire. You're the fire really lighting things up. So please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back at Learn Day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.